But by God, the anxiety I felt, it was just insane.
Good morning, everybody,
and welcome to the first episode of
Mental Health Matrix
with Haya,
Sandra,
and Jana.
On this episode, we'll be focusing on anxiety and school stress.
Yep.
Anxiety affects approximately 25% of 13 to 18-year-olds, as according to the National Institute of Mental Health, and it can be a major barrier to the learning and functioning in school for students.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the biggest problem, though, is that you get stuck in this cycle. So you're anxious, but then that impacts your school, and then you get bad grades, which then causes even more anxiety, and so it goes on.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that one.
Yeah, so anyways, do you guys want to share any of your personal stories about anxiety?
Actually, yeah, last year I was really stressed about this math.
Let me tell you about my problems.
Okay.
God, okay, stop. My anxiety mainly strived off of a load of assessments, and not gonna lie, my poor time management.
Yep. Sounds a lot like you.
Oh my God. Basically, I was just staying up till 3 a.m. each night with my cup of sugary coffee because black coffee is just gross.
What does that have to do with it?
Anyways, it was an absolute mess. By doing that, I was isolating myself from all my friends and family because I felt like the world would collapse if I made the tiniest mistake. My anxiety was me overthinking every move I made.
Yeah.
It was me doubting whether or not I would succeed, and it was just me thinking I wasn't good enough. In the end, all I had and all I was left with were my self-doubting thoughts, which were enormous at that stage, and I had no way to ground myself since I'd already pushed away all my friends and family. It was the most self-destructive phase I ever went through.
Yeah, I think I can sort of relate to how you feel. Like, just this morning, I feel like I had a really similar feeling. So I was making my fried rice, as one does, you know.
How's that similar?
I'll get to it. Anyways, I was putting the egg, I was putting the carrots, I was putting the soy sauce, taking my time, feeling so put together. And I'm putting my lunch into my bag, and I see the time. It's 7:40.
Oh God.
Okay, just to give you listeners a little bit of context, our school starts at around 7:45, and I live about 3 to 4 minutes away. So, doing the math, you can realize I really needed to hurry up. Anyways, I see these horrifying numbers on my phone, and I start rushing, like panicking, you know?
Hi, are you done yet?
I've literally just started.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
of course.
So I shove my bag onto my back, and I run out of the front door, jump onto my bike, and I start pedaling like my life depends on it. I mean, honestly, at the time, being late to school seriously felt like it was the end of the world.
Now I'm the dramatic one.
Can you just stop? Anyways, in the end, I got to my class at exactly 7:45, but by God, the anxiety I felt, it was just insane. Like, the rush of the heartbeat, the sound of the clock ticking, it was like those nightmares where you're running and you can feel the walls caving in and getting closer and closer and closer.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you there. I don't really think that counts as anxiety.
Hi, Sandra's right. Just because you're slightly nervous doesn't mean you have anxiety. But I guess that's the biggest misconception when talking about anxiety.
Exactly. I mean, just because you're stressed or having a bad day and you had to rush your breakfast doesn't mean that you suddenly have anxiety.
I mean, I kind of understand that, but at the same time, we use that word so much in our day-to-day lives that I just guess I kind of got used to using it.
Yeah, okay, I totally understand. It's just very easy to exaggerate your situation when you're actually experiencing it.
Yeah, that's the thing with anxiety. It's that it's usually very unreasonable, only making sense to you in that present moment. My anxiety was worse compared to you guys. Though I excelled academically, I fell behind my friends and classmates emotionally and socially. I didn't want to talk to anyone, though they didn't do anything wrong. Whatever I did and wherever I was always thinking about schoolwork. I even stressed about the little things that we weren't even supposed to do. I had constant restless nights. I started to physically and mentally drain myself. My sleeping and eating habits definitely weren't the best, and that's when my burnout phase started. I started to focus on my grades rather than my well-being.
Whoa, Sandra. My fried rice story doesn't really compare now.
Of course. Haya is just the one to compare her fried rice story to anxiety. Okay, guys, so before we move on, Do you know any calm places you can go to just to relax, or maybe even get some work done, maybe?
Like a chill place? Yo, I have the place for you, okay? Drum roll, please. Starbucks!
Starbucks?
Yeah, even at Sandra.
Yep.
The vibe there is just amazing.
Bro, you don't even understand.
Right? Just the welcoming and inviting aroma of those coffee beans. It's the place where you want to go, when you want to think, hang out with friends, or maybe you just need to get some work done.
I guess coffee never made a situation worse, has it?
Wow. Okay, so who's planning our next study day?
Sandra, that's up to you. But guys, to all you listeners out there, for 50% off of your first drink, use the code MHM15 at the Starbucks near you.
Now that we have established the topic, let's learn about how we can manage our problems. In today's episode, we're inviting Ms. Megumi Uchiyama to talk to us more about anxiety.
She's a counselor with a master's in counseling psychology.
So, let's all give a warm welcome to Miss Megumi Uchiyama.
Hi, I'm Megumi. I've been a counselor almost for 30 years.
Thank you for taking your time to talk to us about this important issue. So, first off, we wanted to ask you about what anxiety actually means. Early on this episode, we started trying to differentiate between worry and anxiety.
Yeah, because we're not quite sure how being late for school would give her an anxiety disorder. She's being dramatic, right?
Yes, if that was the only time or just one time that she is feeling that way, then she's being dramatic. Yeah, it's not anxiety disorder.
So what I'm hearing is that Haya is wrong. That's right.
Moving on, with school contributing so much to teenagers' anxiety, what do you think is the biggest problem when anxiety is left untreated?
Well, it's a very serious issue actually. When the anxiety disorder is not treated, it can escalate to people not being able to leave the house. It could lead to depression.
That's really scary to think about, to be honest. Sounds like what I went through when I was trying very hard to excel academically. But instead, I ended up hurting myself mentally to achieve that. Would you consider this as very common among teenagers who get lost in the stress associated with school?
Yes, absolutely. Nowadays, teenagers are very busy with school, academic work, the extracurricular activities, and their personal lives. So it is very common to start feeling the anxiety in the teenage years.
So we're hearing that due to the high demands of school, many individuals develop anxious thoughts or feelings as a result of pressure from school and society.
With that being said, when is anxiety the most dangerous to your mental health? When can it have the greatest impact on you?
In terms of the age, anxiety disorder can onset from young age to old, but it is said that mean age for the onset of anxiety disorder is about 30 years old. In terms of the greatest impact, it is a very serious disorder, so whenever they are diagnosed, it has a big impact in their lives.
Oh, okay, I get that. It makes sense. So basically, all ages can be affected by anxiety. So to all you teens out there, just remember, you're not alone.
Do you think that anxiety can potentially be a good thing? Like, if you're stressed, you could produce better quality work?
Actually, yes. A little bit of anxiety is a good thing. For example, for public speaking, a lot of people have anxiety. So because of that worry, they prepare themselves better, and that anxiety actually makes the speech better.
What? That's interesting.
Damn.
So, building off of that, we've learned about anxiety itself and the misconceptions surrounding it. But how exactly can we ground ourselves when feeling stressed to make sure we don't get too stressed or lose ourselves to our thoughts?
Yeah, I was wondering that too, because a lot of the time, anxiety is referred to as an issue that you must overcome. But we never actually get real solutions that we can use in our everyday lives.
Well, that's a very good question, because that's what the counseling is about. So let's try the two techniques. The first one is a breathing technique. It's a relaxing breathing, and it goes very slow. Basically, it's called 4-7-8, and when we count 4, you breathe in from your nose, hold it there for 7 seconds, and then breathe out from your mouth for 8 counts. Ready?
Okay, guys, listeners out there, let's all try this together.
1, 2, 3. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out from your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you continue this, it relaxes your body and it helps to calm down. Okay? And then the second one is it's called CBT. The cognitive behavior therapy uses a lot. It's called realistic thoughts. Okay, so let's go back to Haya's example about being late for school and being anxious.
Right.
Okay, so why do you think she felt so anxious at that time?
Maybe because the teachers are gonna dislike her for being late to their class.
Okay.
Fear of failure, maybe.
They start giving worse grades just because she was late one time.
It can ruin her reputation because she's late one
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
My reputation was in danger.
Okay. So, being late for just one time, for 2 minutes, the things you said, do you think that's realistic?
No.
So, let's rephrase it to more realistic thoughts. The teacher is going to be mad?
Possibly.
A little bit,
Unlikely.
maybe. But is it to the point that the teacher is not going to like her?
Not really.
Not with just 2 minutes, right? So this is a shift from unrealistic thoughts to the realistic thoughts. So when you realize that your thoughts are getting too unrealistic and being worried, catch that and then rephrase it to the realistic thoughts.
Oh, so basically, those are some coping mechanisms. Something to get you out of your head long enough to make sure you don't lose yourself in a sea of overwhelming and self-doubting thoughts.
These solutions help a lot of people suffering from anxiety. Basically, guys, we just want you to know that anxiety is something that everyone goes through at one point or another.
During that time, we are all vulnerable to some extent. Ms. Megumi just listed some tips to help you grasp onto reality when you are close to falling behind or getting lost in your thoughts.
Hold it there. Before we go any further, let's have a round of applause for our expert, Ms. Megumi.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay guys, so let's wrap this up real quick. What did we learn from today's episode?
We learned about the difference between anxiety disorders and worrying.
We learned about how anxiety disorder can affect different people and when you are most vulnerable to these self-doubting thoughts.
We learned about some coping mechanisms and how they help individuals deal with their stress.
Overall, we learned that sometimes it's better to backtrack and take a moment to breathe rather than lose yourself trying to keep up with deadlines.
For those of you at home who feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, we want you guys to take a minute out of your day and try the exercises Ms. Megumi suggested.
You need to remember that you will get through this. It may take a while and it may be hard, but you come out of the experience stronger than ever before.
Like Sandra just said, it is hard, but part of the challenge is trying to overcome these thoughts that have the potential to discourage you. Since anxiety, as mentioned before, is usually over irrational worries, solutions Ms. Megumi has instructed will most likely help you calm down in desperate situations.
Talking to someone can really help you get through something big. So don't be afraid to reach out when all you want to do is cave in.
Okay guys, we're kind of running out of time here.
So remember guys, as Dory once said, just keep swimming.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us. If you have any questions, feel free to send them into our mailbox 1256healthforhappiness@gmail.com.
And until next time,
This is Haya.
Sandra
and Jana,
Signing off.